Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Nerd Day podcast. I'm your host, Carlos Rodriguez. That is right. And this is episode 51. But before we get into the nitty gritty of what episode 51 is, I wanted to give a huge thanks to everyone over at Kind of Funny, Kevin, Greg, Blessing, Joey, Cool Greg, Barrett, Andy, everyone over there, especially the Tim and Greg, who I got to, do a whole podcast with, a whole hour just talking about Superman. I got to kick off Community Podcast Day at Kind of Funny, which you can now see if you go to Kind of Funny Plays YouTube account. It's youtube.com/Kind of Funny Plays. You can see me. It's a whole 5 hour stream with me. If We Grow Up, Nerdy is Part of the Ring, Untitled Movie Podcast, and Geekiverse. Everyone killed it. Congratulations to y'all. We all did, I think, a really outstanding job. And I like to quote Snowbike Mike on this one, which I forgot to thank. Thank you, Snowbike Mike, as well. We really set the tone. I set the tone for the day. I was really proud of my performance. I feel like there's some things I could have fixed, obviously, but I wanted to get that all the way. So that's a quick little update for before we kick into the episode. I also wanted to thank a lot of people I didn't get to because I got a little frazzled at the end of the podcast. But again, Kevin Diaz, Mario Rivera, the group at Latinx in Gaming. I wanted to thanks to Shared Screen folk. They are awesome. Check them out. I wanted to also thank Trophy Room podcast, the PlayStation podcast. I can listen to them. They're awesome. One of my friends over there is Kyle, who's also over at 61 Indie. They are awesome. Check them out. Mike, Kelsey, Harry, got to meet them all. Billy the Door, that dude's the best driver in Halo. Uh, so I just want to thank all of them, and especially then my actual family. Wanted to thank everyone, my sister, my brothers, my nieces and nephews, and my friends, everyone who's been there for me, and lastly, my wife, who's amazing and has supported me through all of this. So, with that out of the way, let's kick it into episode 51 of the podcast. Alrighty, and now that we're into the episode itself, episode 51 is all about PlayStation buying Bungie. Now, if you remember episode 48 of the podcast, which you will find below, as well in our Nerd a Day podcast playlist on YouTube and audio podcast forms, you'll know that recently we had Microsoft planning to acquisition and starting the beginnings of the acquisition of Activision and Blizzard. We have roughly about a year and a half till that's finalized, and I think the FTC is going to start looking at it currently as well. So there are some hurdles that Microsoft has to go through till we get there. But in the meantime, PlayStation, like days later, came out with a huge news and that they are purchasing Bungie. That's right, Bungie, who has created the Halo series, Destiny recently, a bunch of stuff beforehand that Marathon and things like that. Uh, was purchased by Microsoft back in the day, right before Halo's launch. Microsoft gave them the resources to make Halo and stuff like that. Toward the end of Halo 3, they wanted to break off and kind of do their own thing, so they signed this deal, which you can find like in the history of Xbox on their awesome YouTube channel as well. I think if you check out G4's X Play whole episode, like the secret ish history of Halo 3, you'll notice how like the beginnings of Bungie like kind of calling it quits. So development of Halo 3 is going, everything's going well. They wanted to break off. They wanted to stop doing Halo. They had ideas to do their own thing, but they also wanted to be independent at that time. So they signed a deal with Microsoft. I believe, 2 or 3 games. I could be wrong, but I think it's 3. But I think 2 anyway came out. So we had ODST and I believe maybe there might be 3. ODST and then Halo Reach was their final one. So that prepare them like that, sent them off with their merry. They became independent. They popped champagne, things like that. And then I think they struck up a deal with Activision right around that time to do like a 10-year roadmap for Destiny. Well, we know it would be Destiny. There's a lot of leaks leading beforehand. They at that point, uh, created Destiny 2, went in through there. Still like a live service game, not I think their full vision, which is what it is now. And they also again wanted to become independent yet again, and then made their ways and did their thing and became independent again. Self-published Destiny 2. I believe it's not on Game Pass anymore. I think it, but at the time it was like day one on Game Pass. All the expansions and stuff. And now it's just a live service game which you could play. I think they just passed a huge milestone for active player base. So kudos to you guys. But yeah, I'm gonna have some little detailed notes, and I have two articles that detail kind of where I'm getting these notes and brass tack stuff for PlayStation buying Bungie. So the deal is worth $3.6 billion. This is from Jay Peters at The Verge. In quotations, in SIE, Sony Interactive Entertainment, we have found a partner who unconditionally supports us in all we are and who wants to accelerate our vision to generate generation spanning entertainment, all while preserving the creative independence that beats in Bungie's heart. Bungie CEO Pete Parsons writes, like us, SIE believes that the game worlds are only the beginning of what our IP can become. Together, we share a dream of creating, fostering iconic franchises that unite friends around the world, families across generations, and fans across multiple platforms and entertainment mediums. It's important that I want to put multiple platforms and entertainment mediums because that's more stories came out afterwards. So then going to CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment, Jim Ryan, he said in a blog post, Bungie's world-class expertise in multi-platform development and live game services will help us deliver our vision of expanding PlayStation to hundreds of millions of gamers. Days later, outside of quotations, I should have said that, not in quotations anymore. Uh, sorry, I don't know why I did the. If you're audio listeners, I did the finger quotes thing, like the douchey finger quotes thing, but like douchey. I just did it to myself. If your video, you just saw me wrestle with the fact that I'm an idiot. Days later, we are getting reports of up to 10 live service games in development at PlayStation. Now, Bungie will continue to be multi-platform and independent studio, sitting alongside PlayStation Studio developers like, Insomniac now and everything. Like they will, I guess, pretty much be independent, but I guess the money that they get handed to it's all from Sony, right? The deal's been in works for a while. This is not retaliatory in any way. An answer to Microsoft's purchase and acquisition of Activision Blizzard, as stated by Jim Ryan. But he said he's quoted in saying more acquisitions are incoming. So I have the Verge's article, and I have another one from Christopher Dring at GameIndustry.biz as well, which is Bungie deals about multi-platform live service games. And so let's kick it off there. So yeah, Bungie is now independent again. Was independent and now it's purchased by Sony, but it's still independent in their own way. And to be fair, this is kind of like some jobs already have been shifted within Bungie and new positions have been created because now Bungie is looking at Destiny as a multimedia platform, right? So it's no longer going to be just Destiny playing your games. I mean, there's already comic books. There are going to be more comic books, more books, a TV show possibly in the works with Sony Entertainment, as well as movies. Who knows? But they want to expand Destiny into this like multimedia franchise that just spans everything, right? Like this is their bread and butter, which is kind of strange. And I know this sounds weird coming from some comic gaming news, but in my opinion, I have a very difficult time with the lore of Destiny because it's kind of like, hey, well, at least with Destiny 1, a big issue was like, read these Grimoire cards, and this is the story of this. And they're like, hey, man, I don't know how you guys find the story, but that's amazing. And I love watching the deep dive videos of who this person is and who that is and the relationship to this and what the light is and the light is went over here and all that stuff. That's so cool. I wish that was a little more forward facing in the games. I think a lot of people said it was fixed in Destiny 2 for the most part. Hell, it's a live service game. It's free to play. I could just jump in and see what it is for me, especially on the newer consoles, seeing that run of 60 frames per second. Bungie's top tier when it comes to FPSs for me. Um, they're really up there with Remedy. Honestly, those two have been killing it, FPS style. So I can't complain. I always like the gunplay at Destiny 1. I just got lost in the minutia of like raids and all this stuff. That's not really my kind of game, especially being a dad of two. Finding time for a live service game is very difficult. Says it also as well the person who bought a battle pass for Halo Infinite and has yet to do anything of note in that, and as well tried to be in Snowbike Mike's hype interventional. No, it's not. There's no one has a problem. Halo, do they? Do they? Anyway, his little tournament twice, and just could not find the time because I have kids. They're more important. I love them to death. But yeah, they're more important. Or family. Got to hang out with my sister this weekend. It was really fun. But besides me not playing Halo, because we're talking about Destiny, yeah, this is gonna be interesting to see where this all nets out. It's interesting to see Jim Wright address the elephant in the room from jump, right? Where Phil Spencer has this kind of reputation within the gaming industry, right, as the good guy Phil. Again, air quotations. I've never met the man. I also get the air that he's good guy Phil. But his verbiage with acquisitions, whether it be Bethesda, hey, I said that right. Nice. Kudos to me on that one. That's a personal thing for me. Yeah, my wife's not gonna make fun of me if she listens to this video or watches this video. Whether it be Bethesda or Activision Blizzard, the wording's been very strange. Like, hey man, like, yeah, we're gonna support it, for as long as we do. Like that's kind of what I get, right? We know Starfield's not gonna be on PlayStation 5 or it'll be on PC obviously. But Starfield's not gonna be on PlayStation 5. It's only gonna be on Xbox. At least the platform in one shape or form, right? So you get a Xbox Series S, Series X, Game Pass Ultimate. You can play it in the cloud, play it on your computer, on the PC. There's options for you, but it's gonna be tethered specifically to the Xbox platform. I believe the same can be said with Elder Scrolls, 6. Those are two giant games coming from Bethesda, and they're gonna be only on the Xbox. Now, I said in the last video, if I were Phil, I would just make Call of Duty multi-platform, as in, I don't know. Yeah, I would go one of two ways. Either make Warzone fully featured, and not saying that Warzone is fully featured to all you Warzone fans, because now I have 145 subscribers. Thank you again. Kind of funny, and all the KFBFs and all my family and friends. Shout out to y'all again. Not that, yeah, listen, if you love Warzone, that's awesome. It just takes up too much space on my hard drive, so I've never jumped in. And again, live service game, battle royale, really hard to find time to play these games. But why wouldn't you just make it fully featured, right? Not just battle royale. Make it battle royale, maybe zombies, possibly team deathmatch, capture the flag, similar to what Halo multiplayer is. I mentioned it again in that video, episode 48. Why not do that, right? Make it like that, and Warzone's free to everyone. And you buy the the battle pass or whatever. Maybe do what Halo does, right? Halo has a good idea. Hey, listen, you buy the battle pass. If you can't make it and beat it in time, it's okay. It will still be there. You can buy the next one, finish up Battle Pass 1 while you still bought Battle Pass 2, and then move on to 2 when you're ready. Not a big deal, which was probably what I'm going to do. Or let's see what I do if I get back in the game. Why not do that, right? Strictly with Warzone. Make that multi-platform. PS5, PC, well, not the Switch. Xbox, everyone can play with each other. Not an issue whatsoever. And then if you want the Halo, pardon me, it's just play. I want to play Halo really bad. I have to beat the campaign. If you want to play the campaign of COD, well, you're gonna have to get an Xbox or some way to get into the Xbox ecosystem. Again, whether that be Game Pass Ultimate's streaming service, whether it be on your phone or possibly in the TV or a dongle down the line, through an app, like a dedicated app from Xbox. Whether that be the Series X, like I have, I'm lucky to have a Series S, like somebody I just saw on Discord today in 6-1 Indies Discord. Congratulations to you. You got it. You got a Series S. Maybe you just get the story. Have them focus and not make it yearly as well. Put all your hard earned time and patience with the story. Don't just crank these things out. Um, I really want to play Vanguard. Like, seeing the people who worked on the game, like Alexa Ray Creer, co-host of Unlocking Kingdom Hearts. Y'all should check them out. Um, Belinda Garcia, he used to work at Ubisoft and contributed to kind of funny content with like Pixar in Review and stuff like that. Why not have like? I want to play that game really bad, but there's this barrier that is $70 to buy it, and I don't want to play the multiplayer. I just want to play the story. There's people like me out there. I'm sure we're very few and far between. I'm sure this is how many, like literally my one hand. But we wanted to have the single play experience. So why not kind of do that, or just straight up being like, hey, you can spend $70 on PlayStation, or if you have Game Pass Ultimate, it's $15 over here. Plus, you ever want to play Gears of War? Well, now you have Game Pass Ultimate. Try Gears of War. You like Halo? Try Halo. You haven't played a Halo since? You never played Halo. Here's this thing called the Master Chief Collection. This is all like the main storylines here. Play this, play 5, or don't. Play 6, and there you go. We're all caught up. That was fun, right? You do either or. But now it's interesting. That's my whole little tirade, and that's a lot is spoken in again, episode 48. But now seeing Jim Ryan be so clear voiced in stating, hey, no, Bungie is independent. Anything they work on is independent. It's theirs. So, we're just helping them. And they're going to help us. Because now we know as well, they are going to be making like, it's been rumored or detailed that it's going to be 10 live service games coming from Sony PlayStation or PlayStation SIE. Any Sony Interactive Entertainment have 10 live service games in active or somewhat development. So, what does Bungie do best? Live service games. What does Sony want to do? Apparently, live service games. So, whether that be, I think Blessing may have said it even when in their PS I Love You episode about this. Like, what if it is just straight up like, hey, Twisted Metal, live service game you can play here on PC. What if it's similar to Ghost of Tsushima Legends? What if it's like Horizon Legends or something like that, or Horizon Karja, whatever, and you get to play as your own like member of this Horizon world, and I get to run around with Kevin Diaz over at PlayStation Source. Shout out to him as well. I love you, brother. Um, what if I get to play as him? What if I get to play as Kevin and me and Kevin and Mario Rivera just get to run around and just shoot like Thunderjaws and stuff like that? That'd be awesome. But as long as it has the time, and 10 seems like a lot because you start to think, what else could it be live service wise, right? Like, I don't think Spider-Man games really foster that live service game mode or anything, but Factions does with Last of Us, which has been heavily rumored since before the launch of Last of Us 2. They said they were doing something, and they stopped doing something, and then they've been hitting at something for a while. I think it's been 2 years since Last of Us 2 came out. Whether it be Last of Us 2, whether it be Factions, whether it be Twisted Metal, like I said, War Group, something crazy. They have 10 in active development. As long as they're varying in some way, shape, or form, I think it could work for Sony. I mean, there is an audience out there that loves live service games and has the time and energy and money to put into it. And now they have the backing of Bungie, who knows what they're doing in this environment. Like, Sony is only benefiting in that. And guess what? If Bungie needs help with something, Sony has so many developers now. Why not be like, hey, Insomniac, they're really bad with like their brain tech. Let's say, I don't know. You have something like that, right? Like, oh yeah, we hook them up with this. Here you go. Yeah, like something like that. It's all beneficial. It's cool that they are independent though and get to kind of still charter their own path. Um, it's going to be interesting to see how this all nets out for Sony, for PlayStation. This is the early days of everything. It does oddly feel like a money fight. I thought it was interesting to when this before this broke, while listening to, I sound like kind of funny saying, and I also sound, because I was on there like, oh, kind of funny this, kind of funny that. I just, they're my brand of entertainment. I like. But when I was listening to Kind of Funny Gamescast, when they specifically spoke about Activision Blizzard, one thing I noted that I was very interested in was Barrett's take on it, right? Like the corporate consolidation, how worrying it was. And I think him and Greg went not back and forth, but they were discussing it. And Greg had an issue, like, you know, or he thought like maybe is this, there's going to be retaliation, is this something like that? And I came up with the question that is, and I would like to see what you guys think down below. Comment down below. I would love to do a video with Barrett because I feel like he knows that I should DM him. I don't know if his DMs are open. I don't also want to, you know, push. But I like his view on stuff because it's there's a lot of positives that come with like kind of some stuff. Like Bungie still happens to be, independent, but what does that mean for the next acquisition from Sony? And does this become like a fight, right? Like did Microsoft just create a monster or a not, a monster, I'm not saying they're the bad guys, but like an enemy in so many ways in Sony, and Sony is now going to retaliate and be like, "Oh, fine, cool, you want to do that? Fine, we're buying Ubisoft," like Greg mentioned or something like in that episode. Like, is it gonna be that for this generation currently and the next? It's worrying and it's scary, and I mean, PlayStation buying Bungie and them still being independent is not as scary as you know Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard. If Sony again, I still have it on my bingo card. If they buy Konami, that 100% makes sense. Or if they just buy all the IP off of Konami. Just like, listen, man, you do your Pachinko and all that stuff, you're making a crap load of money. People want a Castlevania game. People want a Silent Hill game. People want a Metal Gear game. Can't we just buy this property so we can have Blue Point work on Metal Gear Solid Remake, something like that? Is anything like that? Please, God. Let's buy the Fox engine. Let's do this. Oh, hey, Kojima, we're gonna sell you the Fox engine. Here's your baby back. I don't know, man. Like, what's gonna happen? That's what I assumed was gonna happen this year with Sony. I honestly felt in my heart of hearts Sony was gonna purchase Konami. I did not see this on my bingo card, nor did I see Activision being bought out by Xbox. But that is it for episode 51 of the Nerd Today podcast. I want you guys to all stay tuned because episode 52 is about another acquisition that kind of flew under the radar. And it does interact with the world of gaming and another one of my loves, the world of comic books and collectibles. So look out for that one later this week. As for me, again, I am Carlos, your nerd today. You can find me at nerd_a_day on Twitter. Again, someone has it all nerd today as one word on Twitter. It's annoying. And on this, yeah, you can hit up my Instagram. It's fine. I try to do more on there, but it's at nerd today. This is the Nerd Today podcast. Again, you can find us at anchor.fm/nerdtoday. And now I can officially say you can find us on youtube.com/nerdtoday or twitch.tv/nerdtoday. That is this episode. Love you guys. Peace.